Next, at the Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I'm going to look at Revolutionary Girl Utena. This will be a casual look at episodes 1 through 13. I think by the ending of episode 3 with the dance scene, I knew right away that for sure this is going to be a 10 out of 10 and it will not disappoint me. It goes up to 39 episodes. I'm on episode 14 right now. It's made by the man that made Sailor Moon. He had quit Sailor Moon out of the lack of freedom and made this his new passion project, where he was able to do more of what he wanted. The story revolves around Utena, who is a girl who had lost her parents very early on, and she was visited by a prince who gave her the inspiration and motivation to continue. Out of fascination, she decided that she will become a prince who will save princesses, and she adopts this type of persona where, well, not persona, it's herself, but she dresses like a boy at school, and people question her, why do you wear boy's uniform? You're supposed to be a girl. And so this anime, for its time, it does a good job at challenging these type of stereotypes. Utena is very different. She's not normal. But who'd want to be normal? Being normal is boring, as they say. She has a schoolmate that's one of her best friends, Wakaba, and they act like it's a romance. So at least Wakaba does. But she's a very good friend if she has to. Also, I forgot to mention in the beginning, if you haven't seen this, you watch it unless you don't mind spoilers. Anyhow, yes, Una's friend Wakaba is very joyful, wholesome, a good friend. She tries to help Utena whenever she can, and it's called about to hit me. Okay, never mind. Anyways, there's a part towards the end of season 1 where she motivates Utena to get back what she lost. I'll get into that later. In this world, there is a student council that I think is much more than the student council, who are fighting for a revolution. And they have that famous line they say when they have their meetings, that a chick must break out of an eggshell if it wants to live, and that they are the chicken, and that the world is their eggshell, and they're trying to break that eggshell and cause a revolution. That leads us to Toga. He is quite the man. He's a smooth talker. He is a player. He can move people with words. He's a plotter. He is after Utena, and Utena, as much as she resists, she will still blush, but she's very defiant against him. But Toga is a very smart man. He's putting a lot of strings behind the scenes. You would think he's a villain, but he has a good heart in things that he does. He's a very good man. I really like his character. He has a sister called Nanami, who is a very serious brother complex, to the point she wants to kiss her brother. She is all about her brother, as I'm saying, and she will go through harsh situations to prove her loyalty to her brother. At the same time, she is very vulnerable to her own brother. So she needs to really think about her life, because this is not a good direction she's going in. She recently became a duelist and lost pretty pathetically to Utena. Though she did decide to keep the battle going, take on 2 swords and almost kill Utena, just out of surprise. Without getting too ahead of myself, the fights here has to do with duels, and this is what you see a lot of reused animation, but I don't mind it because it's actually really good reused animation. When the dueling starts, Utena will use her ring, which she received by the prince that had motivated her early on before the series, and she unlocked the past after a flood, and she climbs up those spiral stairs, and she has that determined look on her face as she's walking up. As she goes to the top, in the first fight, she is going up against the green-haired man, Saionji. He is a very abusive person who is the first person to be known to have Himeyima, the Rose Bride. Whomever is the champion duelist is the one that she is engaged to, and she will do whatever that person tells her to do. Her character is, it's early on. Her character is very interesting because you can definitely see that even though Himemiya will not admit it and she won't say it, she does really like Utena a lot. You can see that when Utena manages to defeat the abusive man Saionji, Himemiya is extremely happy when she's with Utena, and just the way she acts, you can tell that it's not the same when she's with other people, because there is a point where Utena loses to Toga and loses Himemiya to Toga. And Utena is just broken. She's broken. She felt like she lost a part of herself and she cannot get over it. She skips school. She gets depressed. And she ends up fighting Toga again and wins. And when Himemiya goes back to Utena, she makes this smile that just shows you that when she's with Utena, that's when she is the happiest. But she is still coming to terms with this. She's still trying to understand this because of her dedication to being the royal bride. But it's crumbling. I think she's gonna fall for Utena eventually. Then there's Arisugawa, who is the one all about miracles. She takes on Utena and loses. That's about it for her. And then there's Miki. Miki is a boy. I think he's voiced by a woman though, and he is all about the piano. He grew up with a sister, and they will play piano together. And he thought that his sister had very beautiful playing. Though the real situation is that her sister isn't that good. It is Miki's playing that carries her. When they were kids, they were gonna have a performance, but unfortunately Miki catches the measles and he's not able to perform. As a result, his sister completely backs out of the performance and hides. And Miki tries to get her sister to play again, but once you see that she does play again, that's when they expose the whole thing that she is really that good at playing. It was all Miki. But Miki really appreciates Himemiya. When Himemiya starts playing the piano, she even plays the song that Miki had made up, and he wants to protect Himemiya's music. And he falls in love with her and goes up against Utena, but he loses. He loses because Himemiya was cheering for Utena and it caught Miki off guard, and that's how he lost his flower. There are also filler episodes. There's a hilarious filler episode where Himemiya and Utena get blown up by Curry and they switch personalities. And Nanami, to make it up to her brother for this obscenity that her brother found out, she goes to India to try to get this rare curry, and she gets like attacked by surfing elephants. It's a hilarious filler episode. Choo Choo is the little pet friend of Himemiya. He's like the mascot, like a comic relief character. He eats a lot. Oh, and then there's Eiko and Biko. In every episode, there's always a scene where these two are kind of just talking under the forest of duels, I think, because they always show up before they start talking. And when they talk, I find them the most interesting characters. They are aware of what's happening in the anime, and they'll make fun of it, or they'll do like a stage play based on it. You never see them; you only see their shadows. And they're very funny, very interesting. I really like when they come on. I'm just fascinated by the presentation whenever the scenes come up. The music, just how you only see the shadows, the weird, sarcastic sense of humor that they have. I like the characters. But I guess they're aliens. I guess. I haven't gotten to many of these characters yet. In episode 13, we get a recap episode. I don't know if there was a production issue there, because recap episodes, why? But in that episode, they at least reveal some new things. That the prince that Utena is after is in that castle in the sky, and that because of Utena's determination and victories, she will soon unlock the revolution duel, which will awaken this prince. So at least there's some new content in that recap episode to make it worth watching. And I believe that covers the beginning of the series. I should finish it soon. It's only 39 episodes. That essentially covers what I think about Revolutionary Girl Utena. Great soundtrack, great story. It's very poetic, very artistic in its presentation. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.